The crew of Aeroflot Flight 513 believed they were conducting a routine training sortie on a bitter March morning in 1965. Captain trainee Victor Sjulin was at the controls, with his mentor, Czech Captain Pavel Saveliev, observing from the right-hand seat. The aircraft, a tuple of Tu-124V bearing the registration CCCP 45028, had been de-iced, cleared for takeoff, and the crew expected a normal lift-off from Kuibashev's runway. They thought the young pilot was gaining valuable experience under supervision, that the twin Soloviev D-20P engines would respond predictably, and that the airplane would climb away without incident. What was actually happening was a cascade of small, overlooked errors that aligned at the worst possible moment. The Tu-124, a short-range jetliner derived from the earlier Tu-104, had a wing design that generated lift differently at low speeds. During the takeoff roll, the aircraft's nose began to rise more sharply than intended. As the speed increased, the angle of attack, the angle between the wing's chord line and the oncoming airflow, crept upward. At approximately 40 to 50 meters above the ground, that angle reached a critical point where the airflow could no longer stay attached to the wing's upper surface. In plain language, the wing stopped producing lift and entered a stall. Because the crew's attention was focused on the trainee's performance, none of the three pilots in the cockpit recognized the developing stall in time to apply the correct recovery technique, pushing the control column forward to lower the nose and increase airspeed. The aircraft remained in the stalled condition, sank, and struck a snow-covered field beyond the runway. The impact killed all 9 crew members and 21 of the 30 passengers. 5 more passengers succumbed to injuries in hospital, bringing the total loss of life to 30. Investigators examined the wreckage, flight recorder data, and witness accounts. They determined that the primary cause was the failure to monitor airspeed and angle of attack during the critical initial climb phase. Contributing factors included the lack of active supervision from the captain and first officer, who remained in the cabin, and the Czech captain's preoccupation with evaluating the trainee rather than ensuring safe flight parameters. The Tu-124's stall characteristics were not fully appreciated by the flight crew, highlighting a gap in training for this relatively new aircraft type. As a result of the inquiry, Aeroflot and the Soviet Civil Aviation Authority introduced several safety changes. Pilot training programs were revised to emphasize stall recognition and recovery techniques for all jet aircraft, with specific attention to the handling qualities of the Tu-124. Cockpit resource management procedures were strengthened to ensure that senior pilots actively monitor and assist during critical phases of flight, even when a trainee is at the controls. Additionally, the Tu-124's flight manual was updated with clearer warnings about angle of attack limits during takeoff, and maintenance checks were enhanced to verify that control surfaces and instrumentation functioned correctly before each flight. These measures aimed to prevent a repeat of the tragic chain of errors that claimed 30 lives on that March morning in 1965.